Hello and welcome to another new video, and today we are going to be talking about Chapter 4 predictions, or to be more specific, your Chapter 4 predictions. Hippity goddamn hoppity, yeah. But before we talk about that, I'm gonna redirect you to the video description, because that's a mod, the Kindton mod. Someone, and by someone I mean Foxling, made a modification all about your boy, your man, your main man, the kind modification himself, Kindton. Have I played it yet? No! Could every second word be a slur? Yes! It is a modification for Deltarune Chapter 2, where the Snowgrave root Spamton is replaced by Kindton, which is me. If you want to play it, it's in the video description. Everything was made by Foxling, except the music, which was by Toby Fox. Do your predictions, switch your music. Also, I won't be putting every single comment in for obvious time-concerning reasons. At least one person won't enjoy Chapter 4. This is a prediction, not a threat. I do not have any idea where you live. Real! See, last time around, UT, also known as UT on YouTube, making funny fucking soul splitter animations, check them out. They said that they know, well, if they don't even know me goddamn continent. They probably know the continent, but they don't know me location. They simply do not. And that theory, that is correct. That is absolutely correct. Someone is not gonna enjoy Chapter 4. And that is probably just, a thing that'll happen. So this is what I will coin the clueless theory. Because Yuti has no idea where you live. Speaking of not enjoying Chapter 4, have y'all seen that one video that was going around the other day where someone was criticizing, quote-unquote, Chapter 2 for ruining Deltarune? I think it was 40 minutes of just pure and complete and utter bullshit. I think that's my favorite video on YouTube now, and I love when they said the Arsler. That was my favorite part. Father Alvin knows about the Dark World, or can tie it to the Deltarune belief in some way. Okay, so we are going probably under the assumption that it's gonna be in church. However, in this specific theory, Father Alvin, if you don't know who Father Alvin is, that's the turtle in front of the church in Chapter 1, and in Chapter 2 in front of Gerson's grave. Who's Gerson? That turtle. Yeet. So Alvin the Preach Monk theory, that's kinda based. And honestly, clueless, that's an S-tier theory right there. Alvin the Preach Monk, I gotta give it an A. There's nothing to go against it. I think it'll be an interesting thing to happen to the story, so that's an A-tier right there. Catty and Jockington will appear and have to be separated somewhere in the Dark World, because Jockington said that they are inseparable in Chapter 1. So it would be interesting to see how strong their bond is. So we are going with the nice old setup and delivery system of storytelling. That's a good way to tell a story. You love to see it, if I do say so myself, and I do say so myself because I've read too many shitty Deltarune theories that don't know how stories work. I am not traumatized. I swear. Am I about to make the most unhinged comment of all time? I think I will, yeah. With the average intelligence on the Deltarune theories that I've been reading, no wonder Trump won. Jockey. The jockey theory is getting, I like it. You know what? I really enjoy it. It's not groundbreaking, it doesn't shatter the earth as I step upon it and think about it, but it's a nice soul theory. That's the definition of an A-tier. Jockington will be revealed to be the actual main character and will blast Gaster away with his Jockington blast. Jockington! Absolute cinema. The JB, but I made that a D, cause I don't got no dick. Jockington Blast Theory, let's get it an S. You love to see it. I think Chapter 4 will have more real-world involvement, maybe allowing us to go in more buildings, or, not very likely though, buy something, wait, I get a third sentence, remember to like and subscribe to the Kind Mod YouTube channel. Eat! Give that man a true. You who can like and subscribe. Everybody say like and subscribe. Like and subscribe war ein Joke, war noch nicht mal hellwach. Rainer, abonnieren. I should fucking stop. I didn't put it on the board. No, hold on. What was the actual theory? More real-world involvement. Okay, so I presume that theory is like when you get into more buildings. Okay, so I presume post chapter 4 is gonna have more real-world involvement where you can actually enter into buildings. That is an interesting theory. You know what? The building theory. And I like the building theory. You know, sometimes you just gotta building up the world. You know, you're building up the world. Hey, dear, let's go. In chapter 4, Dark World will have more lore importance than other Dark Worlds because the church is connected to the Deltarune and the angel. That is also an interesting theory. I gotta say, this time around, people are actually like doing stuff. It's crazy. I'm gonna call this the Angel's Gateway theory because it sounds fucking hard. So if we go under the assumption that, you know, the angel referred to in the Deltarune prophecy is the exact same angel that is also in the Deltarune religion, then we can actually say that that is absolutely true. I don't think we don't yet know that both of those are actually connected. It's probably connected, but we don't yet know. And I think because it's already probably true, I gotta give that an S, and that's why I gave it an actual theory name, because that shit go incredibly goddamn hard. Angel's Gateway. The church is Angel's Gateway to Angel's Heaven. Damn! There's going to be a darkness atheist in chapter 4. I think chapter 4 main boss is going to be the angel, and there's gonna be darkness that follow the angel. But there's also going to be darkness that don't follow the angel, which is the darkness atheist, who opposes the angel. So true. The Crusade theory. We just jump in there into the Dark World and then in the middle of a goddamn crusade, the atheists, them damned atheists. But also, I just want to mention the other parts of the theory because the main boss being the angel, a lot of people say it. A lot of people have the idea that if we ever do a chapter inside the church, it's gonna be the angel at the end, but like, I don't think so. I don't. I think chapter 4 out of 7 is like, are we sure? Like we're barely like halfway through? Are we really putting an angel in front of our goddamn protagonists? Like, I don't think we do that just yet. But like, I'll take an L on that. Like, if in chapter 4 suddenly I'm fighting God's apostle itself, my mouth is gonna be open. I'm gonna say absolute cinema. But like, before it's in my hands, before it's on my screen, before I go on stream, follow the stream. By the way, it's already scheduled. You can notify yourself right now. But like, you know, like until I'm there, until I say ooh, I don't believe it. So for me, there's this kind of like, it's not even the main part of the theory, but like the other part of the theory is like, I don't think it's gonna be a crusade either. So I feel like that's just kind of a C, maybe even an old D. Oh. Gabriel Ultrakill is going to be the secret boss. Machines. No, I can't do it. I can't do a Gabriel voice, but it's like machines. That's what he says. Look at him go. So if we put that shit on the board, it's gonna be the Gabriel theory. And I only got a single thing to say, a singular goddamn thingy that I have to say to the Gabriel truthers. Switch the music! Complete global lactation. In chapter 4, we will learn more about Ralsei. Probably not a lot of info, but enough to understand his background and motives better, I think. Now that's actually an interesting thing. I think personally, chapter 3 has a lot more opportunity to show that. But like if we go with chapter 4 as the Angel's Gateway and Dark Fountains itself, then yes, we can definitely get a lot of information out of Ralsei. And that is a pretty good theory, I'm gonna be honest. You know what, after I convinced myself of Angel's Gateway, yeah, Ralsei bros, we might be back. Chapter 4 might get us that juice again. I really hope Muffet appears somehow. Just please, Toby Fox, make Muffet appear in Deltarune and my life is yours. Join the Muffet gang now. Edits, I just learned that Muffet is not owned by Toby, so she probably won't be in Deltarune, but I still hope there's a little reference to her in the Dark World or something, hopefully. Yeah, so fun fact, Muffet, just like So Sorry, is a character that actually doesn't belong to Undertale. They belong to their respective person that donated to the Kickstarter of Undertale and wished for their characters to be in there. Because if you donated, I think it was over $1,000, you get to make a character that was a mini boss inside of Undertale. 2 people did it, Muffet and So Sorry. So Muffet, not a Toby Fox character, probably won't be in Deltarune. Unlucky. But it won't come for free. 1. As I put in the comments of your other one, Rules Card will attempt to rizz up the Chapter 4 boss. 2. Depending on if you carry out the weird route in Chapter 2 and 3, assuming 3 has one, dialogue and some events in Chapter 4 will change. 3. The secret boss will be sane enough to explain some more lore about them. Since Jevil was insane and Spampton was nearing that point, I think they'd get less insane as the chapters continue. Also, the secret boss will be Jesus Christ himself, because yes. Now, Rules Riz is a theory I absolutely subscribe to. As soon as that man went down and said, "God damn it!" I was sold. He rizzed me up. My dick was this big. And I pissed on his fucking wife because I wanted to be her. The second one is just storytelling. Like, yeah, probably. Presumably, the fact that the bird is dead will change a few things about it, but like, sure. I don't think I have to write that down, because like, also Ralsei has an S. I don't think I actually gave it points anymore. It's like S, the other ones are S, sure, why not? And the Sanity theory. Interesting. Now, the Sanity theory that states that the more the more chapter bosses, secret bosses we fight, the less and less insane they get. An interesting theory. I don't think that's gonna be the case, because right now the point is that they are all insane in their unique different way. I don't think we're gonna go down insane levels, but like I think we're gonna more stay at certain levels of insane like that, but like they're gonna be insane in their own unique ways. I don't think we're going to have a repeat of Jevil, because Jevil didn't say anything. Spampton said a lot of things while being insane. I think we're gonna have more Spampton-like characters. They're going to be insane in their own different way, but they are still able to communicate at least something beyond I am insane. So overall, I think the Sanity theory is like B, C, D, E, F, G, F, J, K, I, L, M, N, O, P. Like, this is C. C. I shouldn't. I'm biased. B. I'm like real biased right now. It's B. It's a B. The dogs will be fully blamed for objects missing around town if you let them out. The bit about growing the beard is what Lightness prayed for in church. You get the shadow mantle in chapter 4 and have to send it back in time so you can get shadow crystals. Okay, I get the first one. If you let the dogs out in chapter 2, who let the dogs out? Me. If you let the dogs out, items are gonna go missing around town, and it's blamed on them, because they did it. The bit about growing the beard is what Lightness prayed for in church. The bit about growing the okay, first of all, dog. You know what? I like that very much. That's an S right there. The second one, I don't think I have a high IQ to understand it. I think I'm just forgetting an event that happened with some beard growth, because I don't think there was any. Am I stupid? Yes, objectively. But like, do I have dementia? Maybe a little bit. And then you get the Shadow Mantle in Chapter 4, and to get the Shadow Crystal from Chapter 3, you gotta send the Shadow Mantle back in time. What? Okay, so if I understood correctly, we do a time travel arc. What? Why? Sure. Now, I don't think Deltarune is gonna have time traveling. So, I don't think the back to the rune theory is necessarily correct. That's just me though, you know. Maybe you really like the idea. I am not the person that does that, you know. I'm not the liker here. You may be the liker. You certainly are the liker of this video. But like, I'm not a liker of the back to the rune. So that's like the Chapter 4 will have a big section on Alvin's crib, or whatever the priest's office would be. Crib. And since he's the son of an author, he surely has a bunch of books. Thus, book-themed Dark World with a bunch of church thingies. Rudy will go to the Dark World, basically everyone will, as it is a public place, and not be crippled anymore. Maybe in the weird route, Noel won't let him go to the church due to fear he won't be there. Due to fear, so he won't be there. Okay, so multiple Dark World. Hold on, we'll have a big section in Alphys's office. Okay, so I presume that the Dark World then encompasses the office and the rest of the church, because you say it's a public place. So we are going with the theory that the Dark World encompasses the entire church and not a room in the church. Okay. And that if you do the weird route, Noel won't let Rudy go to church. I get it. Okay. I'm just gonna call it the weird theory because I don't have a name. I mean, the second part makes sense. I mean, if the weird route is so weird that Noel has to take a few days off and then would rather spend the time with her father rather than going to church, that does make sense. That would be an interesting change in the chapter depending on how big of a role Rudy plays outside of the weird route. I like that idea. I also like the idea that it is the entire church and everyone would then also be alerted of Dark Worlds, because you wouldn't be able to deny that. And if it's the entire church and not just a room in the church, that means Mayor Holiday would probably, you know, do a thing or two. So I'm giving that an A, because why not? Jockington fucking dies, or is forced to stay in the Dark World after growing the beard. Is growing the beard a Twitter joke? Because I don't read those. It took me a month to figure out what the fuck Bluey was. I think it's a Twitter joke, or Blue Sky joke, which I didn't read. I didn't read it. So, what I can say to that theory is, yeet. My theory is that the secret boss of Chapter 4 will be Chris's old Red Devil headband. It could relate well with the themes of angels in heaven and stuff. I would like to think that this secret boss is the form of madness, would be a separation from lightness, dream of family, or the mysterious figure that drove the secret boss's insane, likely guessed it. I don't like that, I don't think. See, if the devil headband is ever gonna be, you know, used, I think it wouldn't be used in the church, because why would it be in the church, is my question. You know, if we brought it along with us, why would we? It's just like, why? Was it confiscated? Is it just lying there? I feel like it will make more sense in the house. So I think that may be the secret boss of the Chapter 3 world, which would be cool. I don't necessarily like this theory. I think, yeah, it fits because it's devil horns, but I feel like it fits more with the fact that Chris wants to be a monster and not human. I think that's the main point of the horns. I don't think we should assign multiple meanings to the horns just because we can, you know. So I'm gonna put it on the board, and the horny theory is going to be a nice hold. I don't like it very much. Am I biased? Yes. Ralsei becomes Christian. Crusade Ralsei. No, I don't think that's gonna happen because Christianity is not a thing in Deltarune. That is an F, I guess. I personally like to believe that Toby Fox has no method to the madness and is just doing whatever the fuck he thinks is funny. I don't know exactly how to approach this suggestion because clearly it's wrong. Like, you know, a lot of people like to think to themselves that Toby Fox has absolutely no idea what the fuck is going on and he just likes to troll his fan base, which is just not true. Like, a lot of people are sarcastic about it, but I think because a lot of people are sarcastic about it, some other people have gaslit themselves into actually thinking Toby has absolutely no idea what the fuck he's doing. In some ways, definitely has no idea what the fuck he's doing. But when it comes to actually writing the bulk of the story, he's writing the bulk of the story. Also, he has lined out everything that happens up until the last chapter after writing chapter 2. Like, as he released chapter 1, he didn't have the full story, he had the ending, and he had chapter 1. After writing chapter 2 and releasing chapter 2, he had the whole story. So he already has the whole story in front of him. He already had the ending in front of him as the first thing ever. So, just please stop. I don't know if you're joking or not. Since chapter 4 is going to be in a church, I believe we're going to maybe get a little bit more lore about angels, demons, and hopefully about the angels' heaven. Also, if it would be really funny if we had two enemies as an angel and a demon. Like, both on your shoulder when you make decisions. Oh, and also subscribe to Kind Mode! That's me! I love myself. Sup. Why am I quoting Drake? Fuck that guy. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better never go to Cell Block 1. To any bitch you talk to and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from them. So this is just Angel's Gateway again, but a different theory. So we are a second vote for Angel's Gateway, basically. I like it. I still like it. You know, the fact that the church could be a conduit to learn more about other stuff. Especially more about the lore. I think chapter 4 is a very good place to drop a bunch of lore on you because it's in the middle of the game. If there's 7 chapters, chapter 4 is a little over the middle, but like chapter 4, that's the middle part, I think. So dumping a bunch of lore right there, I think that's good story design. Also, the devil on your shoulder and the angel on your shoulder, I like that idea too. Not gonna put it on the board, but it's like funny. I think during chapter 4 we will have at minimum a hint at the true identity of the knight. Chris is 100% a red herring. Why reveal it so early? It's not 100% a red herring. You can just not have it be a mystery. It was a mystery for chapter 1 and chapter 2, and then it could be revealed to be Chris at the end of chapter 2. That's the mystery build-up and mystery reveal. You know, you can still have that. It's not 100% a red herring. I don't believe in it, but like, let's not kid ourselves. Whether it be Father Alvin, someone original, doesn't matter. I just think chapter 4 would be a good time to start heavily giving hints about the knight. But in the case of where Father Alvin isn't shown or teased to be the knight, I think it would be interesting if Father Alvin had a boss fight. Maybe he sees the fun gang and thinks they're demons impersonating Chris, Susie, and Asriel. I don't know. So basically, using my exact logic of it being in the middle of the game to start dropping a bunch of lore, but then using it on the knight. Now, I don't personally believe that Chris is the knight. I think it's a little stupid. But it's not 100% not Chris, guys. We're being absolutist when we have absolutely no idea. So yeah, I think chapter 4 will be a good place to actually hint on the knight's identity. And the Father Alvin boss fight would go incredibly hard. However, I think lore in itself, yeah, that's an S. There's probably gonna be a lot of lore drops. I, however, think chapter 4 isn't going to actively, like, push towards the knight. I think chapter 4 is going to just start making you question what you know. I think chapter 4, in sense of the knight, is going to just raise questions instead of actually answering. So overall, I think the Chris part of that theory is like the knight part of that theory is fine. I think that's like a B. The Chris part of that theory is an F because it's not 100%. Stop being absolutist when we are all wrong. Rudy talking about he wants to hold hands with Asgore. So here we have the gay theory. Personally, I don't think that Rudy, the dying deer himself, is going to talk about the fact that he wants to cheat on his wife with Asgore. That's just me though. I think this is an F, but if you want that, I guess it's an S for you. I also got a phone notification and we will be looking at it right goddamn now. I actually have 3 notifications, interestingly enough. An email from Surfshark, a video from Meta Nerds Lore, and a Boru updates. And I just got another one. Who did this? Oh my god, it's someone following me. Game on following me on twitter.com. Game on, you're in a video. Look at you go. I think the secret boss will be someone we have to activate, since they would have a dormant shadow crystal that gets activated near the end of the chapter. Okay, I don't know where the dormant shadow crystal idea comes from. I guess that's part of the prediction, that it's going to have a dormant shadow crystal. They talk about it like it's a fact, but I don't know that fact, I guess. So we are going with the dormant theory on this one. The shadow crystal is dormant and we activate it late in the chapter and fight them there. So you're talking about how to access the fight. So I guess that's a B? An A? I mean, if it's true, then congratulations, you figured it out. But like, I don't get the logic, I don't get the code. You know, you just sent me coordinates and like, I have a paper map in front of me. Like, there's no numbers here. Chapter 4 will have multiple dark fountains. Yet darker fountains. This is distinctly different from the other theory that just said that the dark fountain is going to encompass the entire church. This one is saying that there's going to be multiple dark fountains, not all necessarily in the church, but multiple dark fountains that you're gonna have to deal with. Now, I genuinely think that's the case for chapter 3. Now, let me crack pod theory this one for you. I don't think Chris is the knight. We've established that in the video already. However, what if, guys, Chris made a dark fountain at the end of chapter 2, which we defeat in chapter 3. At the same time, someone else made another dark fountain, because now there's 2 people making dark fountains and we can only deal with one at a time, meaning that in chapter 3 there are technically multiple dark fountains. I'm gonna be wrong, but it would be fucking cool. So yeah, I give that an A, because like, my one is cooler, I think. Chapter 4 secret boss will need the shadow mantle, not chapter 3, because at the end of chapter 2, Chris makes a dark fountain directly going against the legend by proxy when they enter chapter 3. Ralsei will be getting there, and you will find the shadow mantle in chapter 3 and use it in chapter 4. Now, if you don't know what any of that meant, in chapter 2, at the end of chapter 2, Sean says to you that you need the shadow mantle to defeat the next secret boss. So what I'm guessing this theory is, the reason the chapter 3 dark fountain was made by Chris is because Chris went against the thingy just to get the shadow mantle from chapter 3. That doesn't make sense though, because they did this. They knew how to make a dark fountain before they made it, a day before, because they plugged in the TV. That was the whole point of plugging in the TV. Then they cut the tires to make sure that the police comes, and then they opened the door to make sure that the police gets in once the dark fountain is made. Yeah, that don't make no sense, I don't think. I don't think the mantle theory makes a lot of sense, and I don't think Sean would know that. Considering there obviously isn't a dark fountain in the church yet, I don't think he's using the prophecy as like a referral manual to like actively look at it and go, oh yeah, the next guy definitely needs a shadow mantle. I think he's just looking at the intensity of the dark fountains and is like, damn, that one was intense. The next one definitely needs a shadow mantle, and that's what they go out for. I think it's they. Yeah, I think Sean's they. Sean binary. So yeah, I don't know where I wrote it. Did I write it down? It's right there. D. Yeah, I think it's a D, I'm gonna be honest. Susie is gonna realize that Lancer is just playing card and we're gonna go against Ralsei's idea about darkness and their purpose to serve lightness. Susie's gonna realize that Lancer's a playing card. Okay, so the theory is Susie is gonna figure out that darkness are objects. And then we're gonna go against Ralsei's idea of darkness being made to serve lightness. I don't see the vision, I don't think. It's chapter 4. I think, yeah, sure, she can realize it, but like going against Ralsei in that way, I think that's not chapter 4 material, I don't think. So, F? It's like a premature ejaculation, but like a premature ending. Premature betrayal. Like, we're chapter 4, guys. We got 8 chapters, so we can write a story in these prediction videos. But like, it's gotta be at least a little realistic, guys, please. I think that if chapter 4 is a church Dark World, there would be a hymn book themed secret boss that would have the purple soul mode, where you go get in line with notes to almost stay in tune. I think they'll make sense because maybe a lot of the lightness stopped attending mass, so there was no point in singing hymns. So the hymn book is abandoned, never to be sung from again. Abandoned like Spammy, My Pookie, and Jevil. What a weird way to phrase that, but sure! So, secret boss, purple soul, hymn book. This may just be Music Fury. Music Fury. Hello Internet, welcome to Music Fury. Probably A, that's an interesting idea actually. Chapter 4 will explore the holiday family more, which means Noel will be present and we might get a Christmas themed area. Chapter 4 will also explore the religious themes of Deltarune, so we could get more insight on what the angels and the angels' heaven is, and possibly even Gaster with his 666 symbolism. The secret boss could be a bad translation of a religious book that was deemed blasphemous, and because of this would have more negative view on the angel, proposing the idea that it isn't a being to be worshipped. So, the holiday theory. I think I'm just gonna put everything there in lore. I enjoy that. We know that Rudy is gonna be there, presumably. Which is why Noel possibly like not letting him is interesting in the weird route. But if we are looking at the non-weird route, there's definitely something that could be done about the Noel and holiday lore in general. Especially before Dark Fountain is made. Come, get on this. Before the Dark Fountain is made and everyone is just kind of going inside of the church, you know, for the goddamn thing. You know, some random NPCs just comes up to Rudy and Noel and is like, yeah, I'm so sorry what happened to your sister. And Noel's gonna be like shocked. And Rudy is gonna be like, bro, it's been years, why the fuck are you bringing this up? Like, I think that would be interesting. Also, I don't think the mother is showing up because she's got a city to run. So yeah, I like the holidays. That's an A. Explore the origins of Deltarune. Makes sense? Makes sense. Angel's Gate. Way, yeah. And bad translation. I really like all of the different secret boss ideas because you can really like do your own thing with it. I think it's an A. You know, I think it's personally an A. I think if we go with the whole the god is not something to be worshipped thing, I think a mistranslation is an interesting idea there, but the mistranslation is less of a mistranslation and more of a heathen book. A book of heathens against the religion. That would be interesting. The cliff, left side of the castle town, will open up for the new chapter Darkness. So the cliff, where you can find Jevil's item if you didn't get it from Jevil's fight, will be the new place for chapter 3 Darkness, for chapter 4 Darkness, which is an interesting game design choice. I don't think it's gonna happen though. I think Castletown proper is just gonna get expanded and expanded and expanded for a while. I think chapter 6 is around the time where we actually go back up there because Asriel starts. So the Castletown boom theory, I gotta say, at that time I like to meet Kanye. No, I gotta say, I feel like there will be more than just Jockington and Catty there, because why would they be there? Because it's a church day, so I mean probably some other people are gonna be in the Dark World one way or another, because I doubt just a bunch of kids are at the church that day. Hope this redeems me. Now, again, I think there is a possibility that the entire church is going to be the Dark World, but I think what's probably going to happen, more likely is going to happen, like I don't actually know the entirety of Toby Fox's brain. I don't know what he gonna do. But like what I think he gonna do is gonna be a single room of the church. I think it makes more sense that potentially we are not getting the holiday lore, we're not getting any of the interesting parts, we are just getting Catty and Jockington in a side room with the fun gang, because that's where everyone is. It's like chapter 2 not being the entirety of the library and just being the computer lab of the library. In chapter 4 can be the church, but like it's not the entire church, it's just the head room of the church. So the everyone is here theory, I like it personally, it's an A for me, but like I just want it to be known, it could very well also just be those two. Rudy dies at the end as set up for chapter 5. Damn! Interesting? It could be a weird one thing. Oh. What if Rudy dies but only in the weird route because someone kills him? However, we can just blame the illness for Rudy's death. Rude dead. I like it. I think chapter 4 will be in the church. Just a thought though. Well, technically, it could also not be. That's an A right there. The church view. Novel. There will be a joke about Catholic priests freaking cell block 1. Oh, you don't ever go to cell block 1. To any bishop talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. Or maybe a small gag about the Pope being from Chicago. I'ma be honest, that's probably not in there. The game's already done. Like, bro is not gonna add a joke just cause the Pope's from Chicago now. Also, it would be really funny if someone was pushed out of a window after being called a heretic or something, having a gag about nobody knowing what defenestration meant except one character. I feel like those are two separate things that you just put into a single sentence because there was a 3-sentence limit. Also, historical reference! I get that reference! What the fuck was that? You don't ever go to cell block 1. So any bishop talk to him and they're in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. Yeet! Personally, I don't think Toby Fox is going to make a certified lover boy, certified pedophile into his video game. Just a thought though. You know, that's just me. You know what? I don't actually need to write that down. It's already in there. Wait, no, I made it go away. Oh, I made it go. Oh. Certified lover boy, certified kind man. Bop, 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 bop. Dude. Foxley, famous kind martyr, says, Chapter 4 will be the church chapter. It will have Rudy and Noel joining the Lancer fan club in the Dark World. Here we will have the possibility of a weird route again with Noel only using Snowgrave becoming stronger and therefore able to heal her father's illness. In the normal route, Rudy will be healed by Susie's ultimate heal instead. Okay, so then nothing ever happens to me. Because Rudy gets healed no matter what. So, the nothing ever happens crowd is so happy right now. Oh my god. This should be Bluey. Clip it on that beat. Oh, Bluey. But somebody gotta do it. On the foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Dark World will be open when we fall asleep in church, so the options for the night will be narrowed by the people in church. The night probably will be created when most people are focused on praying, so no one notices. Okay, so we are going with the theory that it's going to be created as Chris is asleep in church. Okay, so we are going to go into the church, and then we are going to sit down and fall asleep like we did in school. Then we wake up in the Dark World because while we were asleep, the Dark Fountain was made. That wouldn't actually, that doesn't count anyone out because except Chris, everyone wasn't asleep. Like, we don't know who was in the room. But we would then know that Chris ain't the knight. So I guess that does put the cast of characters down. Because it couldn't have been Chris. Woo! I don't think that's enough of a theory to even put on the board. And we come to the last My best guess for chapter 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 secret boss will be a devil or demon due to religious ties, cause of the church. Also, maybe Catty won't be a party member, but instead Noel returns. Or if Catty is a party member, there won't be a weird root. I don't know, she doesn't seem like she'd be manipulated easily. So, we are going with the no weird root strategy unless Noel returns. So we are going with the holiday law. I already told you how I feel about it. I quite like it, but it's not necessarily true. Or we're going with Catty as the manipulated weird root guy this time around. And it would be way funnier if it was Jockington. Objectively. So, are you really sure you want Catty as your weird, rude, manipulated target when you have a perfectly fine Jockington right there? Are you sure about your decision? Perhaps you are. Perhaps you really, truly are. But I am not. I am simply not. And therefore, I must say, at the time I like to meet Kanye, no, I must say, that is a bit of a B-tier theory. However, there's one thing I have to say to you specifically. Muffet goes absolutely goddamn high!